Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. Positional previews conclude today with Tennessee's coaching staff, Josh Heupel's inaugural campaign, his inaugural staff. Your overall thoughts about that staff at this point?
Well, I mean, I think defensively, obviously, they've got a lot of experience in the Power 5 level. I think they've had probably the most ground to make up. I think they've had to probably grind a little harder than everybody else just to get a system in place, because all of them know each other but haven't worked together that way. So there's plenty of unknown just in kind of what that system is going to look like. Offensively, you know what they want to do. The question is, how is that going to translate into the SEC? But you know, I think the staff has put in a ton of work. I think the best thing the staff has done to this point, Austin, is build relationships with current players on the team. And I think that was needed to be done. Part of that's because of COVID, but I think you talk to players and you see players interact, they feel comfortable around this coaching staff, which in turn, I don't know if that means wins, but I think it means you get your best effort out of everybody.
Well, I think it helps the overall staff chemistry. I think it helps the overall team chemistry, which I think does have an impact. Is it worth a touchdown? Is it worth a win? I don't know what it's worth, but it's worth something, in my opinion. You talk about offensively, that's where the cohesion lies. Defensively, they're still, got to get through, fall camp and kind of become a cohesive unit. To me, the biggest question mark heading into fall, and it's no fault of his, it's Tim Banks. He's been a defensive coordinator before. He's back to being a defensive coordinator again, but this is a new staff for him. So what does he expect? How does he do things from a defensive leader standpoint with this group?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. And Willie Martinez is a veteran guy in the back end, but that's where Tim Banks' success is in the back end too. So who ties the front end together? Is that Rodney Garner? Does Tim Banks need help tying the front end together? Is it BJ at linebackers? I mean, how do they tie all of that together? I think is the one question mark that you have. I think when you look at the resumes individually, they're very good. What do they mesh like collectively? I think time will tell. I think it's off to a good start. I don't have anything to suggest, they're bad or it's bad chemistry.
Well, it's just the part you don't know.
Been there.
It's the unknown.
You haven't been there on a Saturday when things aren't going well. How do you fix it? How does that go? We've heard stories through the years of coaches' headsets getting turned off in the game, coach taking over something during a game. So how does this staff handle things when it gets thick on a Saturday? Because it's a lot different than thick on a spring practice, where you go, okay, how do we figure this out? How do you figure it out and work it on Saturday in amongst the fire, so to speak, of the SEC? So I think it's all, they're off to a good start there, but again, there's just an unproven element to that.
All right, that's the defensive staff. Offensively, it's all led by the head coach.
It is. I mean, it's his system. It's what they want to do. Alex Golesh has got his fingerprint on things he wants to do, particularly, I think, more with the tight end and a little more of maybe even some West Coast style stuff. So how do you marry that, those things together? Cody Burns has not worked with this staff, but, I think everybody knows what they want at receiver. So I think there what they want to be. The question is, can they be that? And it really lies at one position, and that's the quarterback position. And I know we previewed that. But you talk about offensive success of this coaching staff, that's going to be dictated largely by the quarterback play. If they get good quarterback play, they're all going to be geniuses.
Yep.
If they don't get good quarterback play, Austin, then there's going to be a lot of people questioning whether or not this offensive staff can handle the life of the SEC. Fair or not fair, it's going to rest at the signal caller position.
The success and credit Butch Jones got here because he had Josh Dobbs. When he didn't, things went south. Same thing here. If they figure that out, whoever it is, Joe Melton, Harrison Bailey, Hendon Hooker, if that person has success, then you're right. Too much blame, too much praise. That's the quarterback position in a nutshell.
Yep, it is. I think Glenn Ellerby had a really good spring with those guys. I think the offensive line's further along than we thought it would be. I like Jerry Mack. I think he's going to be able to use the multitude of running backs in a variety of ways. Receiver, who's going to be the kind of the third guy, fourth guy, who's Cody Burns developed there. But again, it goes back to the signal caller. Josh Heupel scored a lot of points at all levels.
Yep.
At Oklahoma, at Missouri, at Central Florida, he scored points. So I think everybody believes it can work. But it doesn't work if you don't have the quarterback. And that's the question. Is can they find that guy in August, and can they really build off of that?
That's a look at the staff. Josh Heupel and company set to kick off the season September 2nd against Bowling Green. That's on a Thursday night here. This concludes our positional previews for the 2021 season. We'll have continued coverage leading up to fall camp, which starts in early August.